The 2018 European Le Mans Series campaign started in the south of France at the magnificent Circuit Paul Ricard at Le Castellet, where the teams benefited from a two-day prologue test prior to the first 4-hour race.
There's no better place to start the season.
"41 full season entries would battle for the 2018 European Endurance titles. The grid featured the largest gathering ever of Lmp2 cars, and when combined with the Lmp3 category, the total number of Le Mans prototypes was 35 cars. All the reigning teams champions were back to defend their crown. G-Drive Racing in Lmp2, with TDS as a new sporting and technical support and a renewed driver lineup. United Autosports in Lmp3 with their same American duo of drivers, and JMW Motorsport in LMGTE with 3 new hot shoe peddlers. The grid was full and set for drama and action.
We love ELMS.
We have started the 4 hours of Le Castellet.
As the season got underway, pole sitter Memo Rojas for IDEX Sport held the lead as Nico Lapierre moved up into second place in the number 21 Dragon Speed entry. Lapierre, never backward in coming forward, was soon on the attack, looking to try and get by the Mexican driver for the lead, which he did before they even got to the legendary Mistral Straight. Third place Norman Nato for newcomers Racing Engineering, being chased by Pierre Rag and Andre Negrão for Duquesne and Signatec Alpine. Nato down the straight, putting in the move for second place up to the legendary senior flat-out right-hander, a corner that requires bravery and downforce in equal measure. A strong start to the rookie season for Nato and Racing Engineering. Job van Uitert was leading in Lmp3 for RLR M Sport, ahead of last year's champions United Autosports with Sean Rahal, and then trouble for last year's Michelin Le Mans Cup Lmp3 champion.
I have a car stopped at turn 13. Let's see what the driver does. We are waving yellow flags for that. It's car 8.
Jean Glorieux had been shunted out of the race by G-Drive's Roman Rusinov. The GTE leader was Gianluca Roda, Proton Competition benefiting from a performance upgrade with the new Porsche RSR. Andre Negrão grabbed third place from Pierre Rag, the number 29 Duquesne Engineering car falling victim to perennial frontrunners Signatec Alpine. Dealing with traffic is all part of sports car racing. Race leader Nico Lapierre on his in-lap being chased by Norman Nato, catching an Lmp3 GTE battle and going the wrong way in traffic, drifting out wide and losing further ground to more Lmp3 machinery. As he dived for the pit lane, the lead over second place Nato was now just a single car length, the top two pitting together. With the first pit stops underway, Roberto Lacorte led for Settelar Villorba Corsa until a rash lunge from Pierre Rag in the Duquesne car saw them both lose valuable time. The first round of stops down, Nico Lapierre restored the status quo, the 21 Dragon Speed car leading by 2 seconds from Norman Nato in the Racing Engineering machine. No dramas at Proton Competition, the number 88 Porsche leading in the GTE class as Gianluca Roda handed over to son Giorgio Roda Jr. No maintenance required, just fuel and tyres and good to go. Pierre Thirier held third for Signatec Alpine, James Allen of G-Drive in their number 40 car, swooping around an outside-inside pass to take the third spot. And that was soon to become second. Race leader Nico Lapierre slowing dramatically with a left rear puncture on the 21 Dragon Speed car. As he hobbled to the pits, Norman Nato took over the lead in his and Racing Engineering's first sports car encounter. Nato had precious little opportunity to enjoy his time out front. The next round of pit stops was scheduled. In he came to hand over to Paul Petit. Slick teamwork again from Racing Engineering, used to fast single-seater pit stops. If there was a prize for high-speed off of the weekend, it would have gone to Timothy Beret in the Panis Barthez car. Those coloured stripes at Le Castellet are extremely abrasive, and it ripped the car's tyres to shreds. Any hopes of a podium finish had now gone. The same was true for GTE leader Ben Barker in the Gulf Racing Porsche, the JMW Ferrari taking over at the front. Henrik Hedman was in second place in the Dragon Speed car until he was caught and passed by Pierre Thiriet, Signétec Alpine's team, applauding that move as the French gentleman driver moved ahead of his Swedish rival. Not too far behind, battle raged for fourth. Nelson Panciatici getting the better of Enrique Chavez as the 29 Duquesne engineering car moved on up. Then suddenly, huge drama for Henrik Hedman in Dragon Speed's number 21 car. A collision with Duncan Cameron in a Spirit of Race Ferrari. Thumbs up from Cameron, and Hedman also moving in the cockpit. Both drivers okay after contact at Le Beausset had ended in a high-speed trip into the barriers. Both cars wrecked and out of the race.
3, 2, 1, full course yellow.
Racing Engineering called leader Paul Petit into the pits. A strategic moment on which races often turn. Heading back to green flag racing, Petit remained out front. Andre Negrão for Signétec Alpine, half the length and Mistral straight behind in second, and Nelson Panciatici in third for Duquesne. In GTE, the battle seesawed back and forth. Porsche having the upper hand as Giorgio Roda Jr. squeezed back in front of Liam Griffin, driving for last year's champions JMW Motorsport. Lmp2 was safely in the hands of RLR Motorsport, Canada's John Ferrano at the wheel of the number 15 machine. Another round of pit stops and Paul Petit handing over the race-leading Racing Engineering car to the only man who'd ever started a sports car racing before in the lineup, French ace Olivier Pla. A lap later, Andre Negrão returning to the pits for Signétec Alpine, Pierre Thiriet taking over once more. The pressure was on the team to perform, with Pla on his outlap and flying for Racing Engineering. But quick turnaround sent the blue car back out in the race lead with a 6-second advantage. But over a man of Pla's experience, that is not much. And before long, he was right on the leader's tail. Thiriet was powerless to resist as Pla pulled out of his slipstream and swept by to grab the lead in the flat-out right-hander at Senior. And there was more bad medicine to come. Nicolas Jamin for Duquesne Engineering, slipstreaming by Thiriet for second spot. The final round of pit stops, Olivier Pla in for Racing Engineering as the race leader. Nicolas Jamin to Duquesne from second spot, and Pierre Thiriet and Signétec Alpine still with one hand on a podium finish. Pla returned to the track as the race leader. Mathieu Vazivière in second place in the 33 TDS racing car, but Thiriet squeezing back out of the pits into third, ahead of Nicolas Jamin and Duquesne Engineering. But Jamin was fully up to speed and swept by before they got to the Mistral straight. Proton Porsche had consolidated their GTE lead. Matteo Cairoli 7 seconds ahead of Miguel Molinar in the JMW Ferrari. As Olivier Pla swept towards the checkered flag, it marked a remarkable first ever sports car race for Racing Engineering as they claimed victory at Le Castellet. A win in LMP3 for RLR M Sport as Rob Garofal took the checkered flag. They'd dominated start to finish. But in GTE, it was far from over. The checkered flag was out, but Miguel Molinar had finally caught Matteo Cairoli, and they were racing on the very last lap for the lead of the class. The JMW Ferrari got inside the Porsche and contact was made. But Cairoli kept his foot down and rejoined in front on the Mistral straight. Half a lap to go after 4 hours of racing and barely a centimetre between the two cars. pulling out in the slipstream, the Ferrari with a top-end speed advantage, but would it hold? In front, heading up to Senior with more traffic ahead. A chance perhaps for Matteo Caroli to fight back. Could Miguel Molinar clinch victory for last year's champions? In the end, it was close, but the Porsche was vanquished. Ferrari and JMW claiming victory as Miguel Molinar took the checkered flag. An astonishing finish to the race.
I have to thank my teammates, Norman and Paul. They did an amazing job. First time for Norman here and in endurance racing coming from GP2. He did unbelievable at the beginning. And Paul also, his stint was unbelievable. He had a lot of pressure behind. And Racing Engineering first race, first victory. And a big thank you to them.
A huge moment for Alfonso d'Orléans de Bourbon's team. Behind them, Mathieu Vazivière, François Perroda and Loic Duval for TDS in third place on their debut. Nicolas Germain, Pierre Rag and Nelson Panciatici for Duquesne. Giorgio Mondini and Kay van Berlo finished third, Nicolas Ferrer, David Drew and Lucas Legere second, but it was victory for RLR M Sport, Rob Garofal, John Ferrano and Job van Uyten.
I can't be more happy with the team. They did a great job. I had a good first two stints, and then Rob and John, they just finished it. And I think the team can be really, really happy with the progress we've made since the winter. And yeah, now it's time to take some rest.
What about the drive of the race? There were a lot of worthy candidates, but in the end, you have to look no further than Miguel Molinar.
That last stint by Miguel was something else. To do that on the last lap. You know, he was 14 seconds behind starting with an hour to go, and to do it on the very last lap was outrageous. And a great manoeuvre as well, great overtake, amazing.
A great start to their championship defence for JMW against stiff Porsche opposition.
Monza is a very iconic circuit. All over the place you can feel the motorsport history. It's a very fast track with long straight and very fast curve. Let's get the party started.
The second race of the season got underway at the legendary Autodromo Nazionale di Monza with pole sitter Nico Lapierre leading the charge to the tight first chicane. Roman Rusinov squeezing by front row starter Pierre Rag to grab second place in the G-Drive car and challenge for the lead. He was repulsed by Lapierre and left to fight off Duquesne's Pierre Rag for second spot. With Enrique Chavez in fourth position, Lapierre put his head down and headed for the hills. In GTE, it was an Italian that led, but not an Italian car. Gianluca Roda Jr. had got ahead of pole sitter Raymond Narak, a Porsche 1-2 in the home of Ferrari. But never fear, Ferrari fans, Miguel Molinar is here, the hero of Le Castellet, hot on their heels. Sweeping through the Lesmos, Raymond Narak took the lead, and Miguel Molinar also went around Roda Jr.'s Proton competition Porsche. And then the dice was on for the lead. Down to Ascari, weaving through LMP3 traffic, Molinar got his nose in front, and Ferrari had the lead. Then the first drama of the race for the 39 Graph entry. The replay showed that Alexandre Cuneau was just a passenger as the car speared off on the exit of Lesmo 2.
Safety car deployed. We are under safety car.
The car was out of the race, but driver Alex Cuneau, though shaken, was okay. It was nearly 20 minutes before the green flags flew. Roman Rusinov, by this stage, had taken the lead in a slew of pit stops. In second, Phil Hansen for United Autosports. And third place, the other United Autosports car, 32, driven by Hugo de Sadelaire. In the GTE class, Ferrari was still out front, but it was the 55 Spiritor race car of Duncan Cameron. He headed Christian Ried and Gianluca Roda, Proton Competition's 2 Porsches, in second and third. And after their huge race-ending crash at Le Castellet, Spirit of Race were hoping for a little more fortune here in Italy. The only man still leading his class from pole was Jean-Baptiste Lahaye for Ultimate Motorsport, chased closely by Giorgio Mondini, Euro International, and Sean Rahal just 4 seconds behind for United Autosports.
I have a crash at T8.
Buried in the tyres at the entrance to Ascari was Enzo Guibert for G-Drive. They'd been in 9th place.
Safety car procedure deployed.
The safety car not safe enough for some, it appeared. Christian Stubbe-Olsen in the barriers. The Acuricos Nielsen Ligier had run into the back of a rival behind the safety car as its driver lost focus. More work for the hard-pressed marshals to tidy up. And barrier repairs meant the safety car would stay out long enough to trigger another slew of pit stops. At the green flag, the race leader was once again at G-Drive, this time with Andrea Pizzitola on board. The LMP3 battle had been close before the safety car, closer still after. Sean Rahal getting a run on the new leader Giorgio Mondini and drafting by the number 11 Euro International car to take the lead of the class. But yellow flags breed yellow flags, and the next was just minutes away. The Racing for Poland LMP3 car facing the wrong way after contact of the Variante Ascari from the 88 Porsche.
3, 2, 1. Full course yellow, gentlemen. Full course yellow.
Notice how some cars slow to 80 kilometres an hour faster than others. There was more drama in store for Jean Gloria and the DKR engineering car. Last year's Michelin Le Mans Cup champions had been shunted out in Le Castellet, and the car was wrecked and out at Monza 2.
Information to the pit lane, we're going for the safety car.
The race was stuttering and stumbling. G-Drive held the advantage from Duquesne and AVF in 3rd position. And as the safety car pulled off for the 3rd time, with 2 hours down, there is still 2 hours of racing to go. Loic Duval putting the moves in on Phil Hansen to grab 4th position for TDS, who finished on the podium at Le Castellet. Safety cars often give overtaking opportunities, but they can lead to drama, as at the Lesmos. Contact between 2 cars going round the slow Euro International machine left the 18 YMR car in the path of 80 Racing's number 9. With nowhere to go, there was huge contact, all because of one car not making a quick getaway.
We are under safety car. I have debris on track at T7. Leader, slow down.
4 safety cars in the first half make this a crazy race for the strategists, all plans being ripped up as fast as they're made. Phil Hansen leading from Will Owen, his teammate, and Andrea Pizzitola 3rd in the G-Drive car. And a good start from Hansen pulled him away at the green flag, but Will Owen, with Andrea Pizzitola in hunter-killer mode, vulnerable in 2nd spot. Owen, too deep into the Roggia, drifts out wide and loses traction, and Pizzitola pounces immediately. 2nd is good, but 1st is better. Pizzitola dive-bombing Phil Hansen to grab the lead. A great stint from the Frenchman. The battle for 2nd in GTE was an all-Proton competition affair. Marvin Dienst slipping by Giorgio Roda Jr. to take 2nd, as Aaron Scott led the category for the 55 Spirit of Race team. Ex-Formula 1 driver Will Stevens put Panis Barthez up into 3rd place by deposing Will Owen in the United Autosports 32 car. Still leading G-Drive, now with Jean-Eric Verne on board in his first European Le Mans Series race. LMP3 had looked secure in the hands of John Falp, but contact with the number 27 IDEC Sport car at the first chicane left the United Autosports driver with a puncture and no hopes of victory. Slipping through into the lead, Kay van Berlo for Euro International, narrowly ahead of Martin Hipper in the number 13 Inter Europol car. Final corner for Jean-Eric Verne, and victory for G-Drive at Monza.
Awesome job, mate. Awesome job.
2 weeks after a superb victory in the 6 hours at Spa, the WEC's Super Season opener, G-Drive wins in Monza. Lmp3 victory went by inches to Euro International with Giorgio Mondini and 17-year-old Kay van Berlo, their second podium in 2 races. And after heartbreak in Le Castellet, Matt Griffin brought the Spirit of Race Ferrari home in Italy for victory in GTE.
I'm extremely happy to be in this team, so big congrats to Roman and Andrea. They drove a fantastic race, and yeah, I think I'm on a strike of winning now. Three weekends in a row I'm racing and 3 wins, so it's pretty good.
With TDS again second with Mathieu Vazevière, François Perraudin and Loic Duval, IDEC Sport claimed their first podium with Paul Lafargue, Paul-Luc Chatin and Memo Rojas. But victory in Monza gave G-Drive a narrow lead in a top 3 covered by just 3 points.
The team did an amazing job. Giorgio did a cracking stint, so yeah, couldn't be better.
United's Tony Wells, Garrett Grist and Matt Bell took third behind 360 Racing's Terence Woodward, Ross Kaiser and James Swift. The victory for Giorgio Mondini and Kay van Berlo put Euro International at the top by 10 points from 360, RLR M Sport in third.
With 6 rounds in the championship, when you don't score, you've got to at least win the next couple to get yourself back on par, and it was a real team effort today.
No last lap dramas, but as at Le Castellet, Ferrari victorious ahead of the Porsches, with the 77 Proton car in second, Ebby Motors in third. Fourth in Monza, JMW Motorsport still had the championship advantage after 2 of the 6 races. Consistency keeping Ebby Motors' number 80 car in second. Round 3 of the championship was at the Red Bull Ring in Austria's Styrian Mountains. As the red lights went out, the outside of the front row proved beneficial for Pierre Rag, sweeping around pole sitter Paul Lafargue, the Duquesne engineering driver taking the early lead. From 5th on the grid, Roman Rusanov was determined to make progress in the number 26 G-Drive car, up to 3rd place already ahead of Racing Engineering. The championship leaders looking strong again in Austria. Further back in the LMP2 pack, everybody jockeyed for position. Hugo de Sadelaire losing a spot for United Autosports, while that puff of smoke in front was a huge lockup for Mastavos Isakayan and SMP Racing.
Good job, mate. Pace is good. Pace is good.
The LMP2 leader might have been pulling away, but the LMP3 leader wasn't. Job van Uitert just in front of Mikkel Jensen, RLR M Sport ahead of AT Racing. Gianluca Roda had a 10-second advantage at the front of the GTE field in the 88 Proton Competition Porsche. Behind him, an all-Ferrari battle for second. Liam Griffin in the 66 JMW car held it, but then Duncan Cameron in the 55 Spirit of Race Ferrari took it away. The Monza winners up to second spot.
Information to the pit lane. Drive-through penalty on car 26 for a jump start.
Push Roman on this lap, push. Then we must do a drive-through penalty for a jump start. Drive-through penalty for a jump start.
A tough break for the Monza winners and championship leaders. In second spot, poleman Paul Lafargue in the IDEC Sport Machine, 10 seconds behind race leader Pierre Rag. Trouble for Alex McDowell in the JMW Motorsport Ferrari. The team had won the season opener at Le Castellet, but now struggling to make it back to the pits.
3, 2, 1, full course yellow, full course yellow.
Seeming unable to get drive, McDowell had rolled to a halt exiting turn 7. On the uphill stretch, he could go no further. It looked like game over for defending champions and Le Castellet winners JMW. It's an ill wind that blows no good. And with the full course yellow out, it was time for pit stops. Pierre Rag handing over the race-leading car to Nicolas Jamin. They weren't alone in changing their strategy to suit the situation. SMP Racing were also in for a full course yellow change.
Back to green. Track is back to green.
Would stopping out of sync with their rivals pay off? Only time would tell. The Castellet winners RLR M Sport still held the advantage in the Lmp3 category, with Jaap van Uytert at the wheel. Approaching the halfway mark, our Lmp2 pole sitters were still in second place, but IDEC Sports' Memo Rojas couldn't hold off Norman Nato as he dived through to take the spot. They were closing on Konstantin Tereshchenko, and a lap later were catching the Russian driver as they headed back down to the hairpin. But a mistake by Tereshchenko put him on the grass and into Rojas, who in turn struck Clement Mature in the Oregon Lmp3 car. A moment's miscalculation by the Russian cost 3 teams dear.
Full course yellow.
A pit stop for repairs was hardly what IDEC Sport needed.
3, 2, 1. Green. Track is back to green. Track is back to green.
Go, go, go. Green, green, green. Push, push, push.
Sage advice for race leader Nicolas Jamin. GTE leader Gianluca Roda was still in front in the 88 Proton car, Proton in third with the 77 car of Marvin Dienst, and between them Aaron Scott in the Spirit of Race Ferrari. Just 5 minutes after going green, the yellow flags flew again. Third placed LMP3 car, M Racing Weimar's Alain Ferte was in the gravel, and Jacopo Barato was struggling back in with a puncture.
Full course yellow. Full course yellow. Track is back to green.
But it would stay green for just 3 minutes before John Falp went off in the United Autosports car.
Safety car deployed. Safety car deployed. Leader slow down. Leader slow down.
It is our chance, guys.
Another chance to roll the dice on strategy for racing engineering. And the Le Castellet winners were back up to second place after Nato passed Memo Rojas once they went green. But it wasn't to stay green for long. Cool Racing's Alex Coigny was off in the gravel. Another full course yellow, another strategy window opened, and this time G-Jive jumped in with both feet. Andrea Pizzitola handing over to Jean-Eric Verne. It was a popular call. Duquesne Engineering brought in race leader Nicolas Jamin, but it was a lap too late. By the time Nelson Panciatici was clambering in, the track had gone green, and Norman Nato now led for Racing Engineering. As at Le Castellet though, the opportunity to enjoy it was brief. 2 laps later he was in to hand over to Olivier Pla. The balance of power again swung back to G-Drive. Jean-Eric Verne 40 seconds ahead of Duquesne Engineering's Nelson Panciatici. In the LMP3 class though, RLR M Sport yet again seemed untouchable. Rob Garofal doing the anchor leg in the car that had led almost from start to finish. They showed every sign of repeating their Le Castellet victory, while Inter Europol's Martin Hipper looked strong in second. The pace setter in the GTE class was still the 88 Proton Porsche, Matteo Cairoli, finishing the race off for the trio. Jean-Eric Verne making a final pit stop. They had changed their strategy. Once more though, yellow flags helped them out. Their recovery after the jump-start drive-through was superb. Back on track and with a healthy lead. The Monza winners doubled up at the Red Bull Ring, claiming their second straight win.
Awesome result, well driven, perfect strategy, and we come back from the drive-through. My God, every race we do, we win it. That's simply awesome. I like it.
RLR M Sport claimed their second win of the season in the LMP3 class, while it was win number 1 in GTE for the 88 Proton Competition Porsche of Matteo Cairoli and the Roders.
It was not an easy one. It was quite a difficult. I get a very good start, but then we get a drive-through because I had a jump start. So I don't know why, but at the end of the day, it's a play in our favor, so we could win the race.
Post-race, the runners-up Duquesne were disqualified for fuel irregularities, moving Racing Engineering up to second spot, while fourth at the flag, Felipe Albuquerque and Phil Hansen were handed third for United Autosports. But there was no doubting who the top Lmp2 crew of the season were so far. Jean-Eric Verne, Roman Rusinov and Andrea Pizzatola extending their championship advantage over Racing Engineering and TDS. Bouncing back from disappointment last time out at Monza, RLR M Sport were again on the top of the LMP3 podium.
Yeah, it was definitely a really strong race. First 2 hours I had a good pace, and the team did an amazing job. No errors in all the pit stops, nobody set a foot wrong basically, so yeah, then you win a race again.
Runners-up Alex Kapadia, Colin Noble and Christian Stubbe-Olsen claimed the first podium of the season for Kyrikos Nielsen, with Inter-Europol's Jakub Śmikowski and Martin Hipper again on the podium, this time finishing third. And the Inter-Europol duo now lay third in the championship, behind Inter-Europol and new leaders RLR M Sport.
I think we deserved this one. I mean, the car was just amazing to drive. Everything went well, a smooth race, a clear one, so no mistake, no particular incident. So I'm really happy about the team. Gianluca did an amazing stint, George as well.
Fast but winless up until now, the 88 Proton team topped the podium, ahead of Monza winners Duncan Cameron, Aaron Scott and Matt Griffin, and Ebby Motors a third place, with Fabio Babini, Ricardo Pera and this time IMSA driver Brett Curtis. Courtesy of that win, the 88 Proton competition Porsche now has the points lead, ahead of Ebby Motors and Spirit of Race, with JMW retiring. Race 4 at Silverstone in August, heading into the second half of the season, with a great number of questions still to be answered in all three categories.
Started the 4 hours of Silverstone. We have started the 4 hours of Silverstone.
And immediately cars taking to the runoff area, troubling the marshals, as pole sitter Julien Canal leads the charge, followed by Roman Rusinov in the G-Drive 26 car. But a startling start for Anders Fjordbach in the yellow and black high-class racing machine. He started 6th and was up to 3rd before they got onto the Wellington Straight. Right behind, Paul Petit passing Henrik Hedman for 4th, Racing Engineering moving up from 7th. Pole sitter in GTE Christian Ried down to 2nd behind Gianluca Roda, but ahead of the Spirit of Race Ferrari. Duncan Cameron in the Spirit of Race car was lucky to avoid this moment. Henrik Hedman getting it all wrong, trying to go around the 31 APR Rebellion machine and clattering into the green and white Ferrari. Trying to work his way between Cameron and Ryan Cullen in the 31 APR Rebellion car, the Swede misjudges his rate of closing and only just avoids a major accident. In LMP3, it's pole sitter Mattia Drudi ahead of Canada's Garrett Grist. After his sparkling start, Dane Anders Fjordbach pressed on, up to 2nd place in the high-class racing entry, 13 seconds behind race leader Julien Canal for Panis Barthez. The first of the scheduled stops, Roman Rusinov stayed in the G-Drive car and moved up to 2nd spot. 2 minutes later, Julien Canal also stopped. The Le Mans native back in front. After the first round of stops, the Panis Barthez Ligier again quick here at Silverstone. Championship leader Gianluca Roda kept the 88 Proton competition Porsche at the front of the GTE field, while there was contact between Duncan Cameron's Spirit of Race Ferrari and Christian Ried in the 77 Proton car as they battled for 2nd. After 1 hour at Silverstone, That's the gap between the top three. Panis Barthez, 26 G-Drive and 40 G-Drive of James Allen giving chase. Just 3 seconds covering the lead trio. And the G-Drive pair worked together. They reeled in the race leader, putting Roman Rusinov in position to try the pass at the end of the Hangar Straight. Inside, outside, and around the brave way at Stowe to get by Julien Canal. Great stuff from the Russian, who began his racing career here in the UK. So too did Phil Hansen, but there'd be no luck at home for the United Autosports driver and teammate Felipe Albuquerque. And moments later, there was near tragedy. Victor Scheitar shooting straight through a runoff area full of people and machinery.
Full course yellow. We are under full course yellow.
Leader Roman Rusinov handed over the G-Drive car to Andrea Pizzitola. And as they went back to green, the number 40 G-Drive car was jumped by Panis Barthez, Timothy Bouret, getting by Mexico's Jose Gutierrez. In LMP3, Sean Rahal for United Autosports got by championship leader Joop van Uitert in the RLR M Sport car and moved up to third. Third in LMP2 was Ben Hanley in the number 21 Dragon Speed car as he too sneaked by Enrique Chavez. Back to green flag pit stops. Andrea Pizzitola handing over the race-leading 26 G-Drive car to Jean-Eric Verne. Nico Lapierre also heading into the pits for Dragon Speed. The team hoping for a first podium of the season after a troubling year so far. Duncan Cameron's entertaining race continued. The Spirit of Race Ferrari driver had Giorgio Roda breathing down his neck, with Liam Griffin third for JMW Motorsport. The top three covered by a scant second. The winners from Monza ahead of the winners from the Red Bull Ring and the winners of the season opener at Le Castellet. It looked highly likely that one of them would score win number 2, but which? It was too close to call and might well come down to pit work. Anglo-American team United Autosports held a 1-2 in LMP3. Tony Wells from Great Britain 14 seconds ahead of last year's champions Sean Rahal and John Fulp in the number 2 car. Racing Engineering were looking to consolidate their championship position. Norman Nato in second place though was under real pressure. First from Paul-Luc Chatin in the IDEC Sport car, and then perhaps from Henrik Hedman in the Dragon Speed, closing in from behind. Chatin pitted to hand over to Paul Lafargue. Jean-Eric Verne was in from the race lead at the same time. And then disaster for Norman Nato, out of second in a Racing Engineering machine. It had all the hallmarks of a brake failure. The incident promoted Paul Lafargue and IDEC Sport to second, but he was still some way behind race leader Jean-Eric Verne. G-Drive on their hunt for a third win. It was deja vu all over again in GTE. In the closing stages, Miguel Molina for JMW charging by the race leader. This time not the Proton Competition 88, but the 55 Spirit of Race Ferrari of Matt Griffin. Inside the final 7 minutes, victory was there for the taking. Victory awaited Jean-Eric Verne. After disappointment at Le Castellet, G-Drive bounced back, winning in Monza, the Red Bull Ring, and now at Silverstone, claiming their hat-trick. In LMP3, Tony Wells clinched victory for United Autosports. And Miguel Molina held on to hand JMW win number 2 of the season.
Honestly, it was a crazy race for us. We just pushed from the beginning to the end. We had no problem on the car was just magic. The team have done a great job. No mistake during the pit stops, everything under control as usual. Great job from the team and from my teammates, so really happy.
G-Drive becoming accustomed to the top step. IDEC Sport in the end in third, as Dragon Speed claimed their first podium of the season in second. And that moved them up to fourth in the points, with IDEC ahead. But as Racing Engineering retired, G-Drive now 34 points clear at the top of the table.
We are absolutely ecstatic. You can't believe it, you know? I mean, Yeah, we had a tough Red Bull ring, and this is just to bounce back like this. That was amazing. The guys did a super job to give us a lead, and how cool is that, winning this race? That's amazing.
The number 7 Acura Nielsen team claimed a second place, and Ultimate, the tiny French team, got their first podium of 2018. Despite finishing in 6th, RLR M Sport retain their championship lead ahead of United's number 3 car and Euro International.
It's unbelievable, fantastic race. I still not believing in that, but it was a nice one and nice feeling when I crossed the line.
Behind two-time winners JMW, Proton Competition got 2nd, and Spirit of Race another podium in 3rd. The 88 Proton car then still the points leaders from JMW and Spirit of Race, and Proton's 77 car not far behind. The penultimate round of the championship could see titles decided, but as ever at Spa, rain could be a major player.
I'm walking in the rain. Every patter speaks your name. 'Cause nothing's been the same right from the day I met you. I'm soaking to the skin.
Green flag. We have started the 4 hours of Spa behind the safety car.
After 15 minutes behind the safety car, they're ready to go green. The track remains drenched. The forecast is not looking inspiring. Nevertheless, away we go. Andrea Pizzitola, the poleman for G-Drive, finds some traction, and he at least has visibility. Behind him, who knows what's going on? 2nd, Phil Hansen. 3rd, Nicolas Jamin. All make it safely through the hairpin at La Source. And then, streaming down the hill, following the rivers, through Eau Rouge. This requires bravery. At least race leader Andrea Pizzitola can see there's no spray on the windscreen of the G-Drive Orica. Not until they catch traffic, at least. Further back, Phil Hansen holding off Norman Nato, with Nicolas Lapierre and Konstantin Tereshchenko all in hot pursuit. As everybody scrabbles for grip, curbs are best avoided. Lapierre using all of his wet weather experience, from 5th to 4th, moving up the order. Nicolas Jamin also moving up the order, as a mistake from Andrea Pizzitola surrenders the lead. In LMP3, Ultimate were 3rd at Silverstone, but after Jean-Baptiste Lahaye spins out into the barriers in the rain, the race is over for their Norma. He just lost traction under power.
Safety car deployed. We are under safety car.
The GTE leader is Ricardo Pera, using all of Porsche's legendary wet weather traction to stay in front. As they go back to green, a mistake from Andrea Pizzitola in 2nd place. Gustavo Menezes tries to winkle through, but finds the door closed. Not long after, he has another go. Pizzitola wide. Did he see the stranded James Dayson's Euro International LMP3 car, or was it just an error? After another trip to the gravel trap in the same corner, he's called into the pits, and Jean-Eric Verne has his go. Nicolas Jamin, the race leader for Duquesne, pits too. The new race leader is Felipe Albuquerque. He's jumped into the 22 United Autosports car to replace Phil Hansen. A mistake in traffic. Jean-Eric Verne shunting off the 77 Porsche of Christian Ried. He'll pick up a stop-and-go penalty, but the APR Rebellion car suffers a much worse fate. Yellow flags fly again. Felipe Albuquerque splashing through the puddles in the race-leading United Autosports car. But poor Ryan Cullen has come to a grinding halt.
Safety car deployed. Leader, slow down. Information to the pit lane. Red flag. Red flag.
A sensible decision. Conditions, already vile, were getting simply worse. With less than 75% of the race distance run, only half points could be awarded at this stage, but that would be enough for G-Drive. As ever, Eduardo Freitas' only concern is the safety of the drivers and the marshals.
Red flag race will not be resumed.
G-Drive are the 2018 Teams Champions, their third successive title, and the driver's crown goes to Roman Rusanov and Andrea Pizzitola.
I'm very happy for the guys. It's been a fantastic season. I'm very proud of being part of this team. I didn't know them, and I've met an incredible team of person, engineers, mechanics, and I couldn't be any happier.
The race win went to Phil Hansen and Felipe Albuquerque, with the second runner-up spot for Dragon Speed and a first podium for Panis Barthez. The Lmp2 win went to John Falp and new boy Scott Andrews at United Autosports, ahead of RLR M Sport and 360 Racing. And new faces on the GTE podium. A first win for Ebby Motors, Spirit to Race second, and the 88 Proton team in third. But the Lmp3 and GTE titles will be decided at the season finale. There's no rain in Portimao, but not much warmth either at the Portuguese roller coaster. There are 5 teams in the hunt for both the LMP3 and the GTE crowns, but the points leaders have a big advantage. For RLR M Sport, a 4th place finish would be enough in LMP3, while if Proton's 88 car can finish on the podium yet again, they will be the GTE champions. It's a sunny but cold and blustery start to the season finale for the 2018 European Le Mans Series. The front row men, pole sitter Pierre Rag and Timothy Bourret for Panis Barthez, are wheel-to-wheel into turn 1, but Rag bounces over the curbs, Bourret keeps up his momentum and sweeps around the outside to take the lead. Right behind is Spa winner Phil Hansen in the United Autosports Ligier. He and Portuguese co-driver Felipe Albuquerque would love to win here. There's drama early in GTE. Duncan Cameron tried to pass Christian Ried for third, misjudges it and hits the second place Porsche of Gianluca Roda. The championship leader is tagged into a spin and both cars have damage. It's the stationary car at the hairpin that causes all the distractions. Roda was second behind the Krone Racing Ferrari, minding his own business, and got thumped into a spin. After a brief full course yellow, poleman Pierre Rag pounces, retaking the lead from Timothy Bourret. Despite the early contact, time lost and damage, Gianluca Roda recovers superbly. The 88 Proton Porsche is the GTE leader as he hands it over to his son. And RLR M Sport are well poised in LMP3 as Joop van Uytert takes 4th from Alex Coigny. Trouble for Duquesne Engineering's Nelson Panciatici, shattered left rear suspension. Proton still leads in GTE, but it's Dennis Olsen in the 77 car. Jakub Schmickowski pounces in traffic, the green and yellow into Europol car, diving by David Drew for second place in LMP3. And it's close in LMP2. Felipe Albuquerque inches ahead of Jean-Eric Verne, with Willowen in third, right behind. But after better strategies work out in favour of Panis Barthez, United Autosports Albuquerque is being chased down in the final lap by Will Stevens. The ex-Grand Prix driver has got plenty of pace, but the Portuguese just clings on to win in Portimao. And jubilation for Inter Europol. They claim their first ever win to round out their European Le Mans debut season. Proton's 77 team also claimed their first victory in the GTE class. But there's no one happier than Felipe Albuquerque.
Oh my God, I'm so happy. I mean, it was a crazy race. I mean, the top 3 all separated by less than 5 seconds.
Panis Barthez celebrate their best ever result with United's 32 car in third. G-Drive top 100 points for the season, with Racing Engineering runners-up just ahead of IDEC Sport. There's jubilation for the Polish Inter Europol team as they seal their first ever LMP3 win.
It was a fantastic race, a really good car. The team did a perfect work the whole year, and now it finally paid off with a win.
A glorious moment for Martin Hipper and Jakub Schmikowski. A fifth place finish was just enough for RLR M Sport's John Forano, Rob Garofal and Joop van Uitert to take the Lmp3 title.
It was a roller coaster of a season, and to win it like this in the last race was super exciting. Yeah, I'm out of words for it.
RLR won the title, but Inter Europol's Portuguese win saw them jump up to second spot. Third was enough to give the 88 Proton team the GTE title, bringing a long run of Ferrari success to an end.
It's just amazing. I think we are the first in history, father and son duo, to win the championship, and it's an amazing feeling. I can't describe it.
Fantastic for me because I'm old, and the world is for young people, and my son is young. But I'm very happy because we work a lot this year for this championship, and at the end, first, fantastic.
Dennis Olsen, Marvin Dienst and Christian Reed, their teammates, claimed Portimao victory ahead of Alex McDowell, Liam Griffin and Miguel Molinar for JMW, with the Roaders and Matteo Cairoli in third place. And the 88 Crew also takes the team's title ahead of last year's champions JMW. The 2019 European Le Mans Series will feature a new venue, the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona in mid-July. One thing will remain though: action and excitement are guaranteed from start to finish.